Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast, brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVRealtor.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
I'm super. How are you?
I'm fantastic, and I've got a special guest that'll be joining us later in the program. I'm going to be visiting with Natasha Trenev. She's with Natren. We're going to talk about probiotics. Now, we've had her as a guest before. It's a fascinating subject, and if you ever get, like, tummy aches, you get, indigestion, you're going to want to listen because she's got some ideas on how to take care of that, because those are symptoms of some other problem. So be listening for all the details on that. NBC has announced the Celebrity Apprentice cast. I've got some of them in front of me here. We used to watch that. We haven't watched it.
I really liked that show.
It wasn't on last year, was it? So maybe that's why we didn't watch it. Anyway.
Well, I don't know if it was.
Well,
or not. I don't think so.
They have a new host, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He'll be the new host of the Celebrity Apprentice. The competitors include, I'm not sure who this is, Lalia Ali. I'm assuming
no clue.
Muhammad Ali's daughter, but I don't know. Snooki. I've heard of Snooki. Boy George.
Oh.
Kind of excited to see what Boy George is up to. Carney Wilson. I've always liked Carney.
Her.
Vince Neil.
Okay.
And John Lovitz. Yeah. That's the ticket. Remember that guy? Yeah, he was funny. So that's a Celebrity Apprentice cast. Coming up, we got some special things to celebrate today, and we'll tell you all about it in a bit.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Get razors for $1 a month plus a few bucks shipping, so you can enjoy fresh razors every month for as little as $3. Learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
Thought you'd never ask. It is Thursday, the 4th day of February. It's Facebook Day.
Okay.
Today's Facebook's birthday. So I encourage you to poke somebody. Now, I'm not saying on Facebook. I mean, just walk up to somebody and poke them. And they say, what was that for? Say, hey, it's Facebook Day. And then it's Liberace Day as well, so wear glitter while you're doing that. It's Quacker Day today. Quacker Day. It's USO Day and World Cancer Day. I don't think it's to celebrate cancer. I think it's to celebrate the possibility of ridding the world of cancer. But today is the day, so get out there and celebrate. And whatever you do, you got to share it on Facebook because it's Facebook Day today, Facebook's birthday. What year was that created? Do you remember?
I have no
Long
clue.
time ago. So you were on it way before I was. Fun stuff. If you're on Facebook, be sure to like our page, facebook.com/John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you want to buy or sell an RV, go to RVRealtor.com. List your RV for free. Learn more at RVRealtor.com.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. An annual liars contest banned one group of people from participating. Guess who?
Who?
Politicians. They're overqualified. Every year, Burlington, Wisconsin holds a world champion liar competition. They've been doing this now for 70 years. Every year, the lies seem to get better and better. Burlington Liars Club, which holds the competition, even has a fan club, which is $1 to join. So for $1, you can join. Of course, people keep sending the organization blank envelopes, and they say the dollar was in there somewhere. You know, it is a liars club. Why not lie about sending in your dues, right? Up until recently, there was only one rule to get into the competition, and you couldn't lie about people because they didn't want anybody getting hurt, even emotionally. But in 2001, they added one more rule, and that rule is you cannot be a politician.
Because they're just too good at it.
Because they're, according to these guys, big liar-faced liars. So they're like, no.
I think we all already knew that.
You know, and the sad thing is, for those of you who are paying attention to the Iowa caucus earlier in the week, that was on Monday, you know, there's a lot of people that are saying that this person did that wrong and that person did this wrong. You know, when it's all said and done, I'm really sad to see that we can't just follow the rules and do it the right way. And it's like Democrats yelling at Democrats, Republicans yelling at Republicans. They haven't even started yelling at each other yet. That's coming later in the year. But anyway, the one good thing is they cannot join the Liars Club in Burlington, Wisconsin. And you know that's true because you heard it on the radio.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again?
844-204-1055.
And this is your brain on drugs. A Georgia man, Raphael Rashad Bolden, was caught trying to swallow a $5 bag of marijuana. But the weird thing is, he was trying to do that in court. The same court where Raphael was being tried on stolen property damages. So he was in court on charges of stealing something. While he was there, he realized, oh, wow, I got a bag of marijuana in my pocket. So he tried to swallow it while he was there. He got caught. So how many times have we had stories where somebody brought drugs to court?
Oh, over and over and over
It
again.
happens all the time. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Don't do that. Well, first of all, don't do drugs. And second of all, don't get in trouble where you need to go to court. But if you do drugs, you do have to go to court. Don't do the two together. It's just a bad idea. It's never ended in such a good story that, and they all live happily ever after. That's never happened. All right, coming up, we're going to talk about getting some sleep. It's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. Addiction is no laughing matter. Call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-844-204-1055.
Have you ever had a time where you're so desperate to get to sleep you do almost anything?
Yes.
Maybe even kill somebody?
Oh, no.
Well, maybe not that desperate. Well, in Germany, a 17-year-old, Frederick Molnar, actually unplugged his hospital neighbor's life support machine because the noise was keeping him awake.
Oh, my God.
Fred was in the hospital. He said he was trying to get some sleep. He was recovering from a car crash, but the beep, beep, beep from the life support that was keeping 76-year-old
man.
Herman Berghoff alive kept waking him up. Fortunately, the medical staff acted promptly, and they reconnected the life support machine so the guy didn't die. But they're like, what are you doing? He said, I'm trying to get some sleep. You'd think they'd at least have a volume control on those.
Oh.
If you're going to share a room with somebody with a life support machine, couldn't they mute it
Maybe
overnight?
they could just put him in a different room.
Yeah, I would say he needs his own room. Maybe one with bars on the windows. It's attempted murder.
Jeez.
All right, coming up, we have your scoop of the day. That is on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
And now, your scoop of the day. We've got a big game coming up this Sunday. It's a football game, and there are people out there that are pretty excited about this thing. They're super excited, Heidi.
Is that already?
Yeah, it's
I
this Sunday.
haven't been paying attention at
I know
all.
we're not sports people. So, but you
Somebody
might
asked me the other day if I had plans for the Super Bowl. I'm like, well, when
no.
is it?
You
I don't know. It's like this
stay
weekend.
home. Anyway, you probably noticed something odd about the Super Bowl 50. The fact is that the Super Bowl 50 and not Super Bowl L. The NFL did not want to use the Roman numeral. You know, they always have. It's like XX. Anyway, they said they decided to use the Arabic numeral 50 to set a milestone game apart from all the others. The league was worried about the aesthetics and the mockery. The creative director, Shannon Melvin, says L immediately brought up so many negative connotations. Really?
Why?
NFL L? Super Bowl L? I don't understand.
I don't think so, but whatever.
Pointed out that making an L, has been like a sign for loser. I get it. And they were saying that it would be really hard to find a way to use that in a logo. Anyway, many other traditions, they say, don't worry, they'll be back to the Roman numerals before you know it. Research shows that King Tut, they figured out how he might have died because they had no clue. They had the body. They're like, hey, how'd the guy die? Well, in a chariot accident is what they're saying. I think he was texting while charioting.
I'm sure they know that.
I think that's what it was.
100% certain.
Yeah, I don't know. They're guessing.
That's ridiculous.
A team of Chinese scientists found in tests on 57 drinks that Sprite is the best at relieving alcohol-related symptoms. So, if you need a little hangover helper, they're saying, hey, you should have a little Sprite. It'll put a little Sprite in your step, apparently. Spoonful of sugar makes willpower go up, according to a series of studies. They've suggested that fueling your brain with sweets can strengthen self-control. Oh, wow.
That certainly
I've
doesn't
been
work
trying
for me.
this for years. You don't even need to swallow to get the benefits of the sweetness. Simply swishing a glucose-laden drink in your mouth and spitting it out will boost your self-control and willpower for tasks from like squeezing a hand grip to completing impossible brain teasers. So if you have things like that in your life every day, like you need to come up with a way to, have a better way to squeeze a hand grip. What in the world? Who's doing this stuff?
Who knows?
All right. Anyway, they say you don't even need to drink it. Just swish it around and spit it out. All right. 2 Albanian men carrying stolen computers and flat-screen TVs worth about $13,000. That's a lot.
Whoa.
Flagged down a Berlin, Germany taxi to load their loot. The taxi driver helped the thieves load the bulky boxes and right in front of a law office at about 1 a.m., drove to their apartment. After collecting his fare and a generous tip, the taxi driver notified the police, who later raided the apartment and found the stolen items from a previous burglary. So he gave him a ride there, and then he thought, there's something fishy about this, so he called the police. But he got his fare. Anyway, that's all that mattered to him. In Henderson, Nevada, you know where that is?
Yes.
It's right by Las Vegas.
Yeah.
61-year-old Douglas Hoffman really wanted his room with a view. He was just sentenced to 5 years in prison for staging a small-scale terror campaign among his neighbors to get it. At first, Douglas illegally cut down a group of trees to get a better view from his home.
Gosh.
He wanted to see the Vegas Strip. However, to mask his own vandalism, he then destroyed over 500 trees in the neighborhood because he didn't want people to realize it was him.
Yeah,
He
it was
wanted
probably him.
And he sent threatening notes suggesting that there was an extreme militia group and it would continue to attack the properties, finally promising chemical and biological and nuclear mass destruction.
What an idiot.
So after he cut his trees down, people were like, what is the deal? Why'd you cut all these trees down? And he's like, it wasn't me. Somebody did
It's
that.
a crazy militia group.
So then he went out and
trees.
faked a militia group cutting down trees.
Oh, wow.
He got caught. He got to go to prison for a while. Hey, finally, our strange law. Persons classified as ugly may not walk down any street in San Francisco. Really? Who gets to decide this?
Yeah, who gets to decide who's ugly?
Yeah, I've been to San Francisco, and that's probably why they told me to leave. Hey, get over to Oakland. Okay, well, I don't know what I did wrong. That's your strange law. This has been your Scoop of the Day.
This portion of the program is brought to you by RoughToughKennels.com. Dog kennels and accessories sent to your front door wherever you live. Your dog deserves it. Learn more at RoughToughKennels.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We've got a special guest on the line right now, Natasha Trenev. She's with Natren, and she's also the author of Probiotics, Nature's Internal Healers. Natasha, how are you today?
I'm fabulous, and I hope all of your listeners are as well.
Well, we're excited to chat with you. I know we talked sometime last year, but I wanted to chat with you again this year because there are people who, about a month ago, did these things called New Year's resolutions, and one of the big ones is to lose weight. And I've read that, within the first couple weeks, a lot of people drop those darn things. They don't even do the New Year's resolution. But for people who are hanging in there, or maybe somebody that says, even though I didn't make that resolution, I do want to lose weight. You're saying probiotics can really help us in that goal. Is that correct?
Yes, they can. The microbiota, which is about 100 trillion strong, that lines our gut, actually helps our body to digest the food and is essential to fueling our body rather than just feeding our body. And that makes a big difference in about how our body utilizes energy or stores fat.
Now, what are probiotics, and what are their functions in the human body? How do we know how that stuff works?
Okay, well, the probiotics is a name that means for life, whereas antibiotics means against life. And it's the use of essential beneficial bacteria that are part of our makeup and to increase their numbers so that our body can function properly because our immune system is found in our gut, our second brain is found in our gut, and again, the way we metabolize all food is found in our gut. So when we are deficient in these wonderful beneficial bacteria, then the body is not able to fuel itself properly, and elimination doesn't take on its proper role, and so we're not operating optimally as a biological machine.
So now how do I know if I'm deficient in probiotics? Are there warning signs to look for?
Yeah, well, for instance, you're not eliminating properly. If you're not eliminating properly, people think this is some kind of a bathroom joke. So, it's ha ha ha. It's not so funny because literally, your waste material that's gathered after your body efficiently uses the food is not eliminated. So now you have a problem. So elimination of waste is very important, especially to weight loss and to general health overall.
Nice.
And one of the things is that, we know that you're deficient in these bacteria is that, my goodness, you have upset stomachs frequently. And people think about this as a nuisance. And we make, again, social jokes about it. You're not digesting properly. So, let's just take something over the counter and get rid of this problem. And without realizing that when you're doing this, you're dumping undigested food in your intestine, and it has a problem because now it's not nourishing your body. It's becoming, the fodder for all those unfriendly bacteria in your gut, and it's going to be producing toxic byproducts. You're going to be bloating. You're going to have gas, and so it's a terrible thing to do to your body.
And what you're saying is instead of taking these other products that are fixing the symptoms, you should fix the actual problem with probiotics.
Exactly. It's like, your car engine is telling you that you need more oil, so you fix the meter so it doesn't tell you it needs more oil. Well, yeah, you don't know about that you need more oil, but eventually the car will stop.
Yeah, that's not good. Now, what changes in appearance and health and mood are we likely to experience if we're having issues with our probiotic levels?
Well, first of all, you're most likely you're going to be able to focus. Most people have problem focusing, and the best example I can give you is that when you have an upset stomach, you can't think very clearly.
Yeah.
And, people are now realizing that there's great science behind this idea that your second brain, which is in your gut. So let's think about undigested food in your gut that's now irritating these brain cells that are in your gut. And so it leads, I'm being very simple here, I don't want to get too technical, but really it leads to foggy brain, irritability, fogginess, inability to concentrate, mood swings, anxiety, and depression, a host of things, just because, our neural cells in our gut are being irritated by the undigested food.
That's crazy. I never really thought of it that way before.
Yes, well, that's exactly what's happening. And you're also going to become more susceptible to colds and flus because 80% of your immune system is located in your gut. So it makes sense when I tell people, listen, digestion and absorption and elimination is the most essential thing that you can concentrate on. And actually, it's the thing that we concentrate the least on. My goodness, if we operated our iPhones the way we operate our GI tract, our iPhones wouldn't work at all.
Exactly. We're visiting today with Natasha Trenev, known as the mother of probiotics. She is a world-renowned expert in the field of probiotics, and she's the founder of America's probiotic industry. You've been involved tirelessly as an advocate for probiotics for more than 4 decades. Why are you so passionate about this particular subject, Natasha?
Well, because I've seen how it can transform people's lives. And I know that if people follow my tripod of things that they need to change in their life, that we can change the health care in this country. I tell people you need to change your diet, you need to have proper probiotic supplementation, and you need to exercise. If you did those 3 things, you could eradicate almost all forms of disease in this country.
Very nice. And if I would like to get some more information on probiotics, I know I could pick up a copy of the book Probiotics, Nature's Internal Healers. Where can I find a copy of that?
Yes, you can find a copy by going to trynatrin.com. It's our site, and you can ask the question on the site, and it'll probably point you to the right direction. And also, if you want a free probiotic consultation to learn what is the proper probiotic regimen for you to use on a daily basis, you can call 800-536-4833. And people who have been trained for 10 years or more are there. They really want to help you. This is not just a selling company. We're not here just to try to sell you something. We're here dedicated to serve humanity and to make your life better.
Well, Natasha, I appreciate you taking the time to chat with us, and thank you for what you guys do. That does make a big difference in a lot of people's lives, and we appreciate you doing that.
Thank you. It's my pleasure, and it's my life's work.
Again, our guest today, Natasha Trenev, and she's with a company called Natren, and she's also the author of the book that we had mentioned just a moment ago, Probiotics, Nature's Internal Healers. You can find that on Amazon. Thanks so much for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by CarsForSale.com. If you're in the market to buy a car, truck, or van, find thousands of vehicles to choose from at CarsForSale.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
A greeting card is picked up and read an average of 25 times before somebody buys it.
Oh.
25 times. So 24 other people read it and go, not good enough. And then finally a sucker like me walks along and says, good enough. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that?
A Swedish study suggests that putting fertilizer in forests can slow the greenhouse effect. That kind of sounded like a tongue twister.
Okay.
Swedish study suggests that putting fertilizer in forests can slow down the greenhouse effect. So there's one way to do it. Hey, fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
A British company has developed a bacteria-retarding line of underwear that you could wear for days without having to wash
just
them.
Disgusting.
Yeah, because that's what we should be working on. Why?
So gross.
Because science. That's why. That's not a thing, but our son is 19, and he says that kind of stuff all the time.
Because
I'm like,
science.
why? Because science. I'm like, doesn't even make sense. Don't you even vocabulary, bro? I'm like, what is going on with our kids are getting so dumb. Anyway, coming up, we're going to talk about meeting in the humor section. It's on the way.
This portion of the program is brought to you by StoneGroupArchitects.com. It's more than a building. It's design and function working together. Check out the project portfolio at StoneGroupArchitects.com.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We appreciate you joining us on this Thursday. Hey, this title is called Meet Me in the Humor Section. An interesting idea on how to have fun and inexpensive dates just by going to a bookstore. This idea is from a guy by the name of Michael Webb. A large bookstore is within walking distance from many people's homes. It says the store has everything, music sections, magazines, computer software, a nice cafe, and sometimes Athena and I, this is apparently Michael's wife, walk over there for a date. We spend time browsing in our favorite sections, coming back together every 15 minutes or so to report on what we've been reading. Some of the areas we'll explore together, like the travel and books and humor section. It's fun to take a book of jokes or poetry and read aloud to each other. When we get tired of reading, we head over to the music area where you can do some headphone listening, 20 different CDs that are being featured. Sometime during our date, we plop down at the cafe and converse over a cup of hot tea or chocolate or a hot chocolate or a flavored cold spritzer. Perhaps even share some dessert. An hour or two in the bookstore helps spark communication between couples. He says it's a terrific way to learn more about the interest of your partner and to unwind together. For an upcoming date, consider an hour or two at a local bookstore. If your sweetheart has a shopping addiction, a better alternative might be the library. So there you go. That's his idea.
Yeah, that guy
what
sounds
would you
lame.
think? Yeah, that sums everything up. I was going to ask, what would you think of going on a date to the bookstore? You don't think so, huh?
No.
You're like, no. Lame.
You can go to the bookstore and then pick me up at the bar when you're done.
All right. Thank you, Michael Webb, for that wonderful advice, which my wife clearly spat out as soon as I brought it up to her. What do you think of this? Lame. All right. Coming up, we got some Valentine's recipes because that's going to be here before you know it as well. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV, 1-800-259-7646. Also brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you're buying an RV or selling an RV, check out RVWheelator.com and the Dollar Shave Club. Here's John and Heidi.
Today is February the 4th. That means if my calculator is correct, we have 10 days to go until Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
It's the 14th, right?
Yeah.
14
Still the
minus 4,
14th.
10? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So I have Valentine's recipe. These say these are a way to a man's heart.
Okay.
So first one is Jell-O Jiggler Hearts.
Okay.
They say similar to Knox recipe, whatever that means. Use recipe on the boxes of Jell-O. Make Jell-O using 3 small boxes
Knox
of Jell-O.
is, gelatin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hot water set in a baking pan with edges. When cut into shapes with a cookie cutter, hearts, of course, are the most popular shape this time of year. So they're saying, hey, it's simple and easy. Throw some little hearts on the plate. Next one, heart-shaped sandwiches. Use a large heart-shaped cookie cutter to cut heart shapes into bread. Spread your favorite spreads and serve special lunches this year.
Okay.
Oh, how about a Valentine cake? Instead of buying a cake, for Valentine's Day. Says you probably already have a mold. Bake a 2-layer cake, once in a round pan and one in a square pan. When baked and cool, slice the round one in half. Place each half of the round on the corners of the square, and you'll have a perfectly shaped heart. It's got a headache thinking of that. Oh, I see. If it's square, and then you put the two sides there, it would be a heart. I got you now. I was not firing on all cylinders. And then the last one, special breakfast. Fry eggs for breakfast inside a large heart-shaped cookie cutter placed on the grill, and the egg will cook in the shape of a heart. Oh, those are so sweet. So if you want to do some sweet breakfast things for Valentine's Day, there's some ideas. Coming up, there's a flag on the play. We'll tell you what's going on in a bit.
This portion of the program is brought to you by GunUp.com. If you're a gun lover, you'll be in heaven at GunUp.com. Built by experienced military veterans, shooting sports competitors, and publishing professionals. They have awesome stories and articles that are read by millions of gun enthusiasts. Check it out at GunUp.com.
The parents of Patrick Griffiths, a senior at Miracosta High School in Torrance, California, are demanding that the school strike the 17-year-old boy's recent suspension from his record so it won't impede his college career, and I agree with Mom and Dad on this. You know why he was suspended for 2 days?
Why?
Because he was selected and crowned homecoming king at the homecoming football game.
Okay.
And he said, I think it's a meaningless popularity contest, so he said, I don't want to be the crown. So he willfully defied, according to the school, defied the valid authority of supervisors, teachers, administrators, school officials, and other person or personnel and their duties. So
because he said he didn't want to be homecoming king, he got suspended.
He was crowned homecoming queen. They said, hey, you were selected. You were homecoming king. Sorry, you're right. And he said, I don't want to be the king. Choose somebody else. I don't want to be the king. And they said, no, we chose you. You're the king. Get up here. And he's like, I don't want to do it. Guys, I don't want to wear the crown. I just don't want to do it. And they suspended him for 2 days for that.
That's ridiculous.
I think so, too. So I guess we'll see what the courts have to say, because that's where it is now.
That's what I would have done, too, if that was my kid.
That's not good. Anyway, coming up here in a bit. Oh, hey, speaking of football, because this was during the homecoming football game, our guest tomorrow, I'm so excited. I'm going to be visiting with a guy about concussions. There's a big the movie coming out with Will Smith about concussions, and there's a lot of talk about that in the NFL. And with the Super Bowl coming up this weekend, I decided I'm going to reach out, and we've got a guest talking about concussions tomorrow, so that's on the way. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. You can get razors sent to your door each month for just $1, plus a couple of bucks shipping. It's an amazing deal. Log on to dollarshaveclub.com/radio to learn more. That's dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Now, back to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. Here's something to keep in mind as we approach Valentine's Day. A simple hug can save your life. Did you know that? Hugs are good for you.
But I love hugs.
I love hugs, too, from you. You know what? Here's one of the things I'm not so fond of is hugs from strangers. I'm not a big fan of that.
Oh, I'll hug
What
anybody.
happened there? Like, all of a sudden in society, people are hugging each other. I'm like, what? I don't even know you. Why am I hugging you?
I'll hug anybody.
Yeah,
I like hugs.
Thanks for the hug. Can you go away now? What was your name? I don't know. It's not me. Growing up, we weren't a huggy family. Your family,
Yeah,
you guys
we hug
are.
everyone.
Oh, when I first married into this family, I went to family events, and when it's time to leave, there's 15 minutes of hugging before you leave. It's a hug fest. So here was my thing. I learned really early on. I was like, I'm going to go start the car. That's the deal. Mm-hmm. So I'd say, hey, I'm going to go out and warm up the car. I didn't let people know I was going to stay in it while I was warming up. And then they would have to come outside to find me to hug me, and they would still do that. So.
They would.
Anyway, they say a simple hug could save your life, Heidi. Experts say oxytocin, I think that's what they call it. It's what they call a love hormone. It increases during a hug, causing a calming effect. In fact, the effects from one hug in the morning lasted throughout a tough workday. So they're saying if you have a job that's stressful, what you need are more hugs.
Right.
Because this oxytocin, or however you say it, this goes into your brain, the love hormone, and it helps battle the effects of stress. So there you go. Get a little more,
agree with that.
A little more hugging, and everything's going to be just fine. And I thought that was pretty good timing because we got Valentine's Day sneaking up here in 10 days, we figured out earlier. So that's on the way. Coming up, we've got some good news. We'll share that for you here in a bit.
This portion of the program is brought to you by DirecTV. Call 1-800-259-7646. They have hundreds of channels to choose from, with many packages to fit your viewing desires. Learn more at 1-800-259-7646.
We always try to wrap this program up with some good news, and today is just the same as every other day. I found some good news for you, Heidi.
Okay.
This is a story about a hero. You ready for this?
I like heroes.
This is a really cool story. I wish that there was a way to have the perfect happy ending, but that didn't happen. Susan Jordan, the principal at an elementary school in Indiana, is a hero. Sadly, she passed away last week, but she did this saving the life of 2 students.
Okay, what happened?
Saved 2 students from a runaway bus.
Oh, my gosh.
She was helping a group of students on their bus home when another bus jumped the curb.
Oh, my gosh.
Witnesses say she pushed the two 10-year-old students out of the way, saving their lives, sacrificing her own. Oh. Responders rushed to the scene, and they got the students to a nearby hospital. When they were there, they were in critical condition, but they are expected to make a full recovery. And like I said, sadly, Susan Jordan gave her life to save the life of 2 students.
Wow.
And I think that is absolutely amazing, that she's a hero, absolute hero. And, think about yourself. Would you do this? We all think that we would. We hope that we would. I hope I would. But that was some split-second decision-making.
Depends on who the kids are.
No, come on, Heidi. No. See, this is how she deals with something that's touching and emotional. She's trying to bring the levity to it. But, it's amazing. She's the principal at an elementary school in Indiana. And this bus was coming, and she could have ran out of the way herself, but instead she pushed 2 kids out of the way, and she was killed and died a hero. I think that's an awesome story. Again, it's sad that had to happen, but what a way to go. I hope someday when I go, it was from saving people, in the line of a bus or something like that. Ah. You're going to line that up? Is that what you're doing? I can coordinate that. What are you doing tomorrow?
It's kind of a downer way to end the show, isn't it?
No, it's not, because she's a hero. That's the good news about it. I thought that was just a really touching thing that she was so selfless and did that. So hats off to Susan Jordan and her family. Time to say goodbye, Heidi. Goodbye, everybody. You're saying that wasn't good news? Okay, I'm sorry. I was completely wrong today. We ended with bad news, and I didn't mean to do that. But I'll try better tomorrow. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
And your bonus break is brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. You can learn more at dollarshaveclub.com/radio. But I'm going to tell you this. You can get razors delivered to your door for how much a month, Heidi?
$3 a month.
Yes, I didn't think you were paying attention all this time. $3 a month delivered right to your door. Again, dollarshaveclub.com/radio. Girl Scout cookies. We like Girl Scout cookies.
We love Girl Scout
We just
cookies.
got a box of Girl Scout cookies given to us with a PSA to play on the radio. That's like bribery, isn't it?
Oh, that's all right. I'm good with bribery.
Thinking that's payola plugola. I'm pretty sure. I think that's illegal. But, well, we're going to eat the cookies first, and we'll keep the box for evidence in case we need it. But for those of you who have not yet bought your Girl Scout cookies, if you would like to buy cookies, make sure your check doesn't bounce. If you're addicted to the shortbread, the Samoas, or the Caramel Delights, or maybe the ones that Heidi likes, the Thin Mints. Some folks are so addicted to them, they buy them knowing they don't have the money to buy them, and they give the Girl Scouts a bad check. Can you imagine giving
That's
a
not
bad check to a Girl
nice.
Scout? Get this, though. The Girl Scouts Council that serves the San Diego Imperial County area, this is Southern California, they lost over $20,000 on bad checks.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Anybody that bounces a check of more than $100 can hear from the county prosecutors. So if you bought a lot of cookies, for over $100, you're going to get all kinds of trouble. But, if it's just a check for $10 or $15, I don't think they can prosecute you.
And they're probably not even going to mess with it, honestly.
But here's what is going to happen. They're going to say no more checks from anybody because the bad guys go and mess it up for all of us. So don't do that. After a local bank reported a man wearing a ski mask and brandishing a gun had robbed them, the police sprang into action. They found an abandoned getaway car and traced the license plate back to the commissioner's girlfriend, who admitted that she had lent it to him for the week. The commissioner's soon-to-be former co-worker said, "I'm surprised he used his girlfriend's car. Even the dumbest thieves use stolen vehicles." So it was the county commissioner that actually robbed the place. That's
Wow.
a pretty ballsy move. I bet he's not getting reelected. I'm just saying. Hey, if you're going to rob a place, make sure you have clean socks. Sounds weird, but a Russian burglar put socks on his hands to avoid leaving fingerprints at a jewelry store. He was caught only a few hours later. Police believe the dogs tracked him down from the scent of the stinky socks that were stuffed in his pockets. So if you're going to do it, maybe you wear clean
Or at
socks.
least discard the socks as soon as you leave the place you robbed.
Hey, if you plan to go into the field of armed robbery, it's a good idea to invest in your career by buying the proper tools of the trade. This is a piece of advice not heeded by Pelham, Georgia's Marty Simpson. Instead of spending a couple of bucks on a ski mask, he thought, I'm going to rob this place here with a milk crate on my head. He pulled a gun, grabbed the loot, and ditched the milk crate in the parking lot, giving everybody outside a really good look at his face. The whole stupid incident was caught on surveillance as well, so police nabbed him 2 hours later. So,
Wow.
yeah, some really not-so-bright folks out there. Listen to this one. In Germany, would-be armed robbers held up a courier, chasing him at high speeds, forcing him to stop. They finally grabbed the case that he had. They thought that this guy had a bunch of money. Guess what was in the suitcase?
What's that?
It was a bunch of Band-Aids.
Oh.
He stole their first aid kit.
Oh.
Yeah, at gunpoint. I'm sure they felt brilliant later about that. And finally, we're going to talk about a family feud that all started at the dinner table. Listen to this.
Alrighty.
A family reunion at a restaurant in China ended in a massive argument when one of them suggested that they split the bill. The bill was $320. There were about 32 people there, so the young member of the family said, hey, we should all pitch in $10, and, I think it was like $300.
That seems like
whatever
a reasonable request.
So $320, and there must have been more than 32 people. Anyway, they were going to throw in $10 each. A huge fight began. Now the family's not talking to each other.
Well, that's ridiculous.
I think we should tell the story about when your grandpa said, I'll get that. Can we tell that?
I don't think we probably better, should we?
We can. This is the podcast. You know what? They hung in for the podcast. I think that's a funny story. I'll let you tell it.
Okay. We were at my brother's, confirmation.
Okay.
And everybody went out to eat, and they had all-you-can-eat crab legs.
Yeah.
And afterwards, my grandpa is sitting down. He was a smoker. And he's sitting down at the end of the table. And after breaking apart all those crab legs through the whole meal, he lights a cigarette and goes to take a puff, and he sniffs his fingers, and he says, kind of makes your pecker twitch, doesn't it?
That's not fun. But didn't he offer to buy everybody's food, though? And then there was
well, he was drunk. He had a bunch to drink, and he offered to... That's not... See, my favorite part is the part I just told. That's not what you wanted me to tell?
That's not the part, no. Because he said, I'll get that. I'm going to pay for that.
Okay, over here. And they give him the bill. He's like, whoa, I guess I won't. But my favorite part is the other part.
What part of that did you think that was? Okay.
I don't know.
I shouldn't give you that much room. All right, that's going to do it for our bonus break, brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club. You can learn more about them at dollarshaveclub.com/radio.